engaging in one and two, and of course I have a list of panelists in the studios, but of course all in all I have the usual suspect, Oscar the Brazilian, in the studios, and he is the man probably. Look at the current situation. Clubs have been having games behind closed doors, that is one. No money probably for the clubs. For those who do not have sponsors, will also still have all the, and maybe the fans will look on form right there. But looking at that, you could be talking about one of the biggest things happening in the world of sports. Now, Oscar, if you look at football, vaccination, is it supposed to be a must, or it is supposed to be voluntarily? Because one thing that is happening, even some people have not yet vaccinated up to now, because they feel
majority, yeah,
it is at a will.
Yeah, that's one of the points for me. I mean, according to what Ministry of Health has been putting, they are going to conduct voluntary vaccination. That means government has a responsibility of availing the vaccine. Now it should be upon an individual, just like it is me to choose whether I should go to the hospital or not when I'm feeling okay or not. It's me and me to choose to go, because it's my health. If I don't want, it is up to me. But again, this one, I understand it is a pandemic. And again, on the other side, some scientists say your natural body immunity is much more better. We have had people who have fought the COVID. They have actually recovered. We are well aware that this is not a cure. It is just a vaccine, and for which even your natural immunity and protecting yourself alone can guarantee you something. But I'm not saying people should not go and vaccinate. People should go and vaccinate, provided you are not being forced to go and do it. I think that's, to me, where the issue actually comes in. Now, it gets so worrying for me, especially where FUFA has reached to, that even for FUFA to recommend you must have been vaccinated. Where does that come from? Now, for Drabe here, if he would need to be given a role, maybe in a PR somewhere across to represent Uganda, he must be vaccinated, or else he misses the opportunity. Now, why should it be that way? I feel, to me, FUFA is going overboard.
It's becoming like a national ID. You have to move, and that is one thing. But of course, let's get to Drabe. You look at this. Are you still going to imply this on, maybe have you received notifications from the Federation of how, because tentatively we may see that fans may be involved in this now, the coming season. Games may not be played behind closed doors, maybe around 200 something, okay, numbers may be in there. Are you also going to be looking forward to see that fans need to come with their vaccination cards to access the perimeter fences, maybe access the stadium?
In referring to the guidelines released by the President of the Republic of Uganda, as far as the COVID restrictions are done, he relaxed in a number of things, including sports. And if you look at other activities, he emphasized that the number of gatherings, the number of people that gather, should at least be 200. That means that sports activities are not exceptional, they are part of it. So it doesn't guarantee us that it will allow people to go and access the games when they are vaccinated, no. But the most important thing is observing social distance and other standard operating procedures that are already in place that we have to enforce. Those are some of the things that we rely on, not necessarily vaccination. Unless another tougher guideline comes, that's when we can be able to bend to. But as far as I know, the standard operating procedures are the key things that we're supposed to observe and ensure that we have order.
Now, that's one of the biggest things that is happening in there. If you look at the standard operating procedures, it is one thing that has caused very many clubs issues because of they are not abiding. The fans coming there. Mr. What strategy are you going to use to make sure that these fans don't really cause what has been caused by them previously in different clubs? Okay, let's say India. Some clubs were fined in there because the numbers that were given surpassed the limit that was needed.
See, one of the things, the key things that we're going to get on for our fans, those ones who have seasonal ticket holders, those are some of the things we allow for fans to ensure that we don't want disruption, we don't want disorganization at the earliest stage. You know, when something is very strict, you have to rely on, one, it comes with the penalties. The team going to play home games outside a row it's going to be a tough moment. So we have to get to understand each other. Fans will be able to understand us. So if some of the decisions will feel that they are harsh for them, but we have to do them, but for the good of the team, not really to please our fans. Every time that fans should be happy, and yet we fail to observe some of the key things highlighted by the federation. It would be very unfortunate, but those are some of the things we shall be able to have in place for our fans.
Now, Oscar, if you look at these very fans we're talking about, others used to fly over the fence because they were restricted to get in for the games. This time round, yes, the PRO is assuring that only ticket holders, I don't know how many they are, will be accessing in there. Where will that take the club, and where, of course, will the club benefit from that?
I have a bit of experience in where Green Light is. It's surrounded by buildings where people can actually easily access. Mango trees are available. I remember that's one of the things we were using when we were at Barifa, when Ediofes was still playing at Barifa. If you can't access the stadium, at least you climb. And that's what I'm seeing. People always do climb. The mango trees will be around, people always plant them. And that's the risk, that's one thing. So and I really still think this is going to push people to do more of the extreme. Because we are going to limit to the 200, I agree, because it's a directive. They are still going to be pushing people, especially young kids. They want to watch the game at all costs, and they'll be up there. I only wonder if it's a live game, how it's going to be like, who cover people, spectators. But to me, I feel one other challenge I see with these restrictions government is giving. Let's look at clubs. Most clubs are struggling. They're really struggling. Now you're limiting only to 200 people. And how much will the gate collection be? And remember, these gate collections are the ones that can facilitate players' allowances. Those other people who go to give first aid, you can give them the officials. Those other people that play behind the scenes, the people that Onduparaka employ, the gate people, the askaris, paying small bills like water, electricity, those kind of things. Now, all these costs will have to be shouldered by the club. At least those days when you used to have a lot of, you have funds going, you know that this team is going to get something. Now, even these small things we call tip, a player scored a goal. If there are 3,000 people, at least one is giving 5,000, 2,000 to a player or two. Those small bits. But now I see much more of a bigger challenge. Now the question comes in, how prepared is Onduparaka? Especially us knowing that they have not been well off financially, just like there's no any other team that can be 100% well off. So how prepared are they to fill in the gap now that the funds may not be in large numbers? Those small monies they will collect, how much have they prepared, and how much have they collected to make sure that all these gaps are filled?
Yeah, if you look at that, of course, we are seeing big names probably will be saying into the teams of Onduparaka. Maybe they are prepared. I just want Onduparaka Football Club, the names that I remember the PRO confirming to us here, the one name that he will sign
and will shake
the whole world. How prepared is the team?
Yes, financially.
Speaking from where Oscar said there are those who climb, those things they happen.
Yeah, they happen.
They happen anywhere.
It is true.
Even.
But I'm saying it's going to worsen because of the limitation.
Even in Lugogo, people do
They
go
do.
and they go and watch KCF fixture. So those are things that happen. We can't. But
I call it passion for the game.
Provided they are outside, we shall not cater for that. Those are people who want to risk their lives. They climb on their own. We don't do anything to them. We cannot go and change them. That's so bad. And you have to put your neighbor as well.
No, but it will become so alarming that an Onduparaka fan fell from a tree and maybe loses the life. It will still, at least, it will be attached to Onduparaka. There should be a remedy at least. Not that you will not care 100%.
The challenge, you see, everybody cares, but the challenge is, you see, when the game is going on, it becomes hard for somebody to go.
Yeah, concentration is in the pitch.
It becomes very, very hard.
We're taking a break after here and see how we are coming back because we want to come back and see how prepared is Unduparaka Football Club. And then, of course, he tells us much because Unduparaka Football Club has not yet come up with an official statement about Adiga Morris. Is he still there? Is it true people received the resignation later? It's another big thing that we should be talking about. And then, of course, papers having that Tudu Bosco is in the camp of Unduparaka Football Club. How true is that? We shall be getting back to you. That is Drave, and see whether he will tell us more. And who is that big player that is saying will shake the world? One of the biggest things that we shall be knowing right here. We take a break. We'll be right back, and don't really move away from your TV.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
One of the biggest clubs in the region and of course in Uganda, of course, since 2016 that they joined the Premier League and they're still active in the play is Unduparaka Football Club, where of course we did see recently. I was watching their fans on one of the sets and the fans talked a lot. I just got happy because the fans still looked very active. Talk about the likes of Giant Killer, still gave a lot of information about the club and how prepared they are for this very season, and we're expecting a lot of things that will still be coming from the same team. Unduparaka Football Club, couple of names have been signed in for the team, and we are waiting to see how they will be performing. Just like last season, they had a couple of names, but this season is also another one, more still being unveiled. And of course, this time around, the speed at which the unveiling is going, it is a slow pace, and maybe this is the time that they are going to be now winding up with the big bombs or the big names that are coming in there. But let's start with the question that I had posed before we took a break in there, and the question is,